Well, hello there, and welcome to week 3. The main objectives for this week are to practice the support chapter 2, which is solving and simplifying and graphing linear equations, to do the pre-calculus sections 2.4 through 2.6, which focus on rates of change, solving word problems using linear equations, and transformations of functions, which are essentially reflections, translations, and dilations, which are sort of flipping things, moving things, and stretching things. We also have a lab 2, which I'll talk a little bit more about at the end of this overview. Okay, so big picture purpose, what is going on here? Well, several thousand years ago, some folks found out that we can use linear equations to understand even the most complicated situations. Essentially, on a microscopic level, even curved graphs, very curved graphs, appear to be millions of very small connected pieces of lines. And so calculus is just the way of analyzing all those millions of little line segments and then putting all the information back together to understand the world that we live in. So, being an expert in all things linear, writing linear equations, solving linear equations, simplifying linear equations, graphing linear equations, being an expert in all these things is paramount to being great at calculus. Okay, potential sticking points this week. Perhaps the number of formulas, letters, applications, and such start to ramp up fast, and some people can feel overwhelmed, especially when all those letters feel very abstract and often counterintuitive. So, math vocabulary, math language also can be very confusing. For example, we say S is a function of R in mathematics, and what we're trying to convey, what the mathematicians are saying, is that the Y variable is actually being used as S. So when you see the letter S, it's the Y variable, and R is the letter being used for the X variable input. We're not necessarily always going to use X's and Y's, and if they say S is a function of R, they're specifically saying S is the Y variable, and R is the X variable, and you can replace S and R with A and B. That would be A is the Y variable, and B is the X variable, always Y first, X second. So a lot of those little things can really mess people up if you don't keep track of them. Remember to find a way that makes sense to you to keep all of these formulas and vocabulary straight. I would probably recommend that you keep a separate part of your notebook to list all the important formulas and math vocabulary, along with a very short explanation and perhaps an example of each. That way, anytime there's a confusion, you just go right to that area of your notebook and you can clarify anything. Okay, just a reminder for this week, the lab assignment number 2 is due Friday, and it's the first lab with pre-calculus problems in it. Now remember that the lab assignments are designed to help build your conceptual understanding and thus can sometimes be challenging. You can certainly collaborate together. You can get help from me, you can help from the math lab, etc. But I suggest doing it early so you can get any questions answered without being stressed about the deadline on Friday. Okay, and of course, remember to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything that I might be able to help on. Good luck this week, and hopefully I'll chat with you soon.